Welcome, everyone, to another unscripted and unchained RPG review. Uh, Richard DM Bloodworth here, or Game Master Bloodworth here. Um, I am from a new location here, so I'm at my job. I got here about an hour ago or so, and checked my schedule and realized that I actually don't have my first appointment until 4 o'clock. So I have tons and tons of time to squeeze this one in. So this is a response live stream since I can't do video from my job. This is a response to Shadow and Son, and he did his top 10 TV shows. And I am going to be following along as he requested that he asked for all of his YouTubers out there, his YouTube friends out there to respond in kind. And so I'm going to go over my top 10 plus honorable mentions. So, like he did, I'm going to do the same. I am going to start off with my honorable mentions first. Um, Now, many of these are from my childhood. There are a few modern examples, really just one modern example. And I could have certainly gone with a much, much larger list than this. So I am going to, so I will, go through this list, and I am doing it in order, so from 10 to 1. But my honorable mentions aren't really um, in that focus. So my honorable mentions, I will state that these are significant enough that they could have replaced my bottom three. And But anyway, let's get right to it. And if you are coming in now, I know that there's probably very few viewers right now, and that's fine because I literally put up like 10 minutes notice that this live stream was going to go into the space. So here we go. My honorable mentions for my top 10 TV shows of all time. So my honorable mentions are Hill Street Blues. So Hill Street Blues was something that I watched from start to finish. It had a number of seasons, I believe seven, if I recall correctly. And I was really into the police dramas at the time. You'll see some of my other selections are kind of along those lines as well. Hill Street Blues an extremely important um, TV series at the time. And that's the other thing. All of these are TV series. None of them are from streaming. So I would have a separate list for streaming because I don't put them into the same category as television. So so honorable mention number one is Hill Street Blues. My second honorable mention is Kung Fu, the TV series with David Carradine. Absolutely love this show. Um, it was kind of a mix of Western and obviously like spaghetti Western and martial arts, combined up. Absolutely loved it. Um, Actually have the box set, you know. Which I picked up recently, actually, probably in 2025. I believe sometime last year. I was like, oh, that's not that expensive. And I grabbed the whole series, on DVD. So I'm happy, or Blu ray. I'm really happy to have that. Um, the next honorable mention is Schoolhouse Rock. And so I know that's probably going to surprise a lot of people, but if you were a kid growing up in the 70s and early 80s, um, this is something that you watched all the time. And whether it's, how a bill becomes a law, or, how to use a conjunction, I mean, so many of those. Cartoons. They were very, very short too, and just so memorable, and something that, you know, as a kid who wasn't all that crazy about school, Schoolhouse Rock was what was a nice bridge between, learning and being entertained at the same time. My next up is is Land of the Lost. So Land of the Lost is another, another sci-fi adventure TV show that I watched. I watched every time it came on, throughout its entire, you know, life. I forget the number of seasons it might have had, probably two or three. Um, I could have done a little bit more research as to when these came on, but any one uh, of these four that I mentioned could have made my top 10 at the lower end of it. But anyway, so there you have my honorable mention. So my number 10, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, is the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. So this was a Saturday morning cartoon that I watched every time that it was on. Really enjoyed it. By that point, I was well immersed into tabletop role playing game, particularly particularly Dungeons and Dragons AD&D first edition, which is really what the cartoon was based on. With its thief acrobat and its cavalier and such. So it was strictly a cartoon, um, meant to correspond with its release date at the same time as Unearthed Arcana in 1983. So really enjoyed that cartoon. My next, my number 9, which is the most of modern of the TV series that I have on here, was Firefly. So really enjoyed Firefly. It was it was a series that ended too soon. It has an accompanying movie, Serenity, which was an awesome movie as well, and so many of the great, some of the great actors and actresses that were in there. I mean, just a phenomenal job of storytelling, and like I said, it ended far too soon. For the life of me, I can't understand why they take something that is so well written and well received, and then just end it. Now, of course, it played through in reruns and everything for quite some time as well. But sometimes quality doesn't guarantee continued continued viewership, unfortunately. So then the next up is going to be Chiller Theater. So as a young kid, I used to watch this. I forget if it was on Saturday mornings or in the afternoons. It might have been on Saturday. It was certainly on Saturdays at some point. Um, and really liked, just being scared. Some of those things, because I was so young. I was probably under 10 watching this, and just loved Chiller Theater. I was really big into, monster movies at the time, whether it be Dracula or the Wolfman or whatever, and the Bela Lugosi's and the Christopher Lees and the and the others, Lon Chaney and Frankenstein was Boris Karloff and Abbott and Costello for the comedies, connection to it as well with all of their monster movies. I just absolutely loved them. But Chiller Theater was a little bit edgier, a little bit scarier, um, and really enjoyed that. My number 7 is Battlestar Galactica, the original series. And what stood out to me with Battlestar Galactica was that it was a science fiction that my older brother actually never latched on to. He introduced me to Star Trek, the original series, which is later down on my list. But Battlestar Galactica was something that I watched, and none of my other siblings had watched this. And so it really did feel like it became mine. Um, so next one is, hey, Bo, how's it going? Good to see you there. I am kind of remotely from my job, so I don't have all of the same connectivity um, that I would at home, and that's why I'm live streaming this instead of actually recording it. So the next up is The Night Stalker. Now, if ever there was TV series that deserves a role-playing game, The Night Stalker would be my choice. Um, Absolutely love this. I knew of The Night Stalker before I knew of, you know, the Cthulhu mythos, and, just um, another TV series that had a darkness to it, a scariness, a creepiness to it, and yet you always knew that he was going to figure it out. He was going to get to the conclusion. Let's see, Kolchak. Yes, Kolchak is the Night Stalker. Yes. Um, so let's see. And hey, thanks a lot, my ear trumpet. Good to see you, and thank you. Yeah, this does not work the same as when I'm home. Sorry. Um, and congratulations to whoever just won that. There's a bit of a delay in this. Play it with Chill, Call of Cthulhu, or GURPS Horror. I guess you're talking about Night Stalker. Yes. Um, yeah, but Night Stalker, I absolutely love the series, and and certainly deserves its own. Although you can certainly use others for it as well. So next up, number 5. So now we're breaking into my top 5 is Columbo. Um, More so because Columbo reminded my mother of my father and my father's mannerisms and everything. And so it used to drive her crazy. And I think all of us, really enjoyed watching Columbo. And, my father used to walk around kind of like scruffy looking and everything too, especially when he went out in public for like to go purchase a car or something like that. So you know, he had those, again, those mannerisms, like, touching his head when he was trying to think and do things like that. But I could watch every one of those episodes over and over again. Columbo definitely deserving to be in my top 5. And, again, something that just reminds me of my father. And so that's why it's definitely in the list. Next up, my number 4 is Tour of Duty. So, if you know anything about me, if you've been following my channel for a long time, you would know that I entered the military in 1990, and a lot of my influences, both prior to that and then post entering into the military, a lot of my influences was, looking at military games or themed games, both in tabletop role playing games like Twilight 2000, and then Tour of Duty. I forget exactly when Tour of Duty. I will look that up real quick. It had to be early 90s. So 87 to 99. So I joined the military. I joined the U.S. Army in 1990. So it was pre, and then it ran for quite some time, actually. Let me just pause that. Sorry, I am at work, but I'm not taking her call now because I'll call her a little bit later. But anyway, so Tour of Duty both had an influence on me before I entered the military, and then a lot of my early time in the military, I was at one particular unit, my first unit that I got to as a reservist. So that would have been around 93. That was There were so many Vietnam vets in my immediate section, which was the S4, which was the logistics, headquarters level logistics. And so a lot of my command sergeant major, two former command sergeant majors was in that section, both Vietnam veterans. The master sergeant was also a Vietnam veteran. One of the majors and one of the captains were both Vietnam veterans as well. So I was surrounded by Vietnam veterans, and so Tour of Duty just really did resonate with me. So moving on, I am going to go to, yeah, work time shenanigans because yes, I even delayed one of my phone calls because I can always call her back. Um, the next number three is Star Trek: The Original Series. So this was more so my brother's, my brother's thing. My brother is 4 years older than me, but I started watching it. Once I was old enough to start to understand it as well. Um, and our favorite character was always, either James T. Kirk or Mr. Spock. Um, I was a little bit more of a Kirk fan, and he was more of a Mr. Spock fan. But absolutely loved the Star Trek original series. Go back to it and watch it every once in a while. I'm glad it's one of the few things on Paramount. I think it's still on, where I'll go back and I'll watch, just random episodes. So great uh, TV series. Absolutely loved it. And my favorite to date, my favorite Star Trek of all time. So going on, yes, both Jewish. Yes, they're both Jewish. But I had you know, no reason, other than just their acting and their mannerisms and everything like that. So going on next is, and this one is uniquely mine, from my own family. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Is Star Blazers. Absolutely love this cartoon, and watched it every morning before I went to school. Even risked going to school late for it, and yeah, Star Blazers was just, now it is something else in Japanese, like something Yamada, Long Live Yamada, which was the name of the ship. Um, but yeah, Star Blazers is what opened up Japanese anime to me. And then I would come across like Akira and Fist of the North Star and all of those later on. But Star Blazers, and then anything related to Star Blazers. Like I wasn't a huge Robotech fan, but I liked Star Blazers, and I liked the ones with the fiery phoenix. Um, oh, I always forget the name of that cartoon series. Somebody will probably jump in there. Um, G-Force. G-Force was the other one that I was a big fan of, but Star Blazers was the one that opened it up for me. Let's see. I ran home from school in order to not miss Star Blazers. For me, I think it was in the morning. For some reason, I'm thinking it was in the morning. G-Force was the other one, yes, and I just remembered it too. Loved it, but not the top 10. Um, yeah, it's. I watched your top 10, and you had room for it in your top 10, but that's just me. Um, Battle of the Planets. Oh, is that what it was called? It was called Battle of the Planets, and then G-Force was the group that they were, and the Firing Phoenix was when their ship, or their, they morphed into a Fiery Phoenix. But Battle of the Planets was the name of the show, correct? And then finally, and this is another one that's probably going to, take a lot of people by surprise, but my number one all time, and this is just something that I can watch a clip of this every single time without fail. There are hundreds, if not hundreds, of clips that are just so memorable, and I laugh every time. So now you know it's a comedy, and that is going to be Monty Python's Flying Circus. Um, there is not anything on this list that, or anything in my honorable mentions that I would replace with this. I wouldn't move Monty Python out of my top three. Um, just something that, as I got a little bit older into my teen years, this was still something that, just absolutely loved. Every movie that came out of Monty Python's Flying Circus was also, equally, hilarious, and just something I would watch, all the time. And yeah, just what a phenomenal, TV series. What a phenomenal, comedy troupe that they were. And it was just something that was uniquely the 80s in my mind, even though it started earlier. And yeah, I have spam, 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 and spam. Yeah, there are just so many memorable episodes, and even skits within episodes and everything. Like the Pope Olympics was another one that just came to my mind. Those were hilarious too. There were just so much in there that, and I think mostly that you couldn't do it today, and that's what makes it stand out even more so, is that you couldn't make many of those jokes today, unfortunately. And so there is my top 10 plus my honorable mentions. And I know this one's kind of short and everything like that, but I wanted to keep it somewhat short anyway, so I can get back to work and see who that phone call was. But anyway, um, thanks everyone for joining, and I'll be looking out for your top tens, for your top 10 TV shows. Again, I'm going to keep separated from streaming shows, much more modern shows, and I will be doing later on in the week my top 10 novels, and I'm going to try to, you know, disperse that across more than just my three favorite authors, but some authors will make more than one appearance in that top 10. But and there'll probably be no surprises as to my top three authors that will be in there. But maybe I'll throw a surprise here or there for you in that top 10. So anyway, um, thanks everyone for following along and watching through this. I know it was very impromptu, so I'm happy to see that there are actually 10 people in here, and thanks for all of the comments that are in here, and yeah, this thing will go live on the channel as a video that you can rewatch later on if you've missed the first couple installments. And yeah, I'm still not working until 4 o'clock, but I probably have to make some copies and follow up on some phone calls. But thanks a lot for popping in, and I'm glad that this is at least working to the point that I can do these live streams from my iPad. But anyway, you'll have a great rest of your week, and I will be doing a lot of content throughout the week, and plus some gaming along as well. I have my Tuesday night game that is Dragon Slayer RPG, and then this upcoming Thursday night is Shadow and Sons Barrows and Borderlands game that I'll be playing in, and then and I might have an interview coming up on Sunday. I'm waiting to get some confirmation from the convention organizer for that particular first time announcing that particular convention. Be on the lookout for that on the live stream on Sunday at 7 p.m. All right, you all have a great one and take care.